All right, let's dive into pricing for beginners. Now, here is something that I want you to take away and something that I have taken away too. So, I've taught pricing over the years to many different photographers. I even had a masterclass where I would teach pricing in like 5-day challenges and all these fun master classes. But what I was finding was there really needs to be two ways to price yourself. It's the same formula, okay? But I feel like it's best taught depending what level you're at, because it's very easy when you're first getting started to want to jump to that dream session price that you wrote down when you were goal setting. And a lot of times you're just not there yet. That the dream session price, that's where we're headed. And today you're going to figure out, where you need to start pricing at this stage in your business. And then when you're ready and you come join us in the From Broke to Booked Blueprint program, I'm going to teach pricing a little more in depth there, where we're going to be able to raise your prices. We're going to be able to get you to that dream session price. And you'll be making more income when you're at that level, but we have to start somewhere. So that is what this training is all about. So in the beginning, you typically lack the experience. You are still focused on learning how to produce high quality images, and you're learning how to run your business. So it doesn't make any sense when you're in the beginning and you don't have consistent clients and you're still trying to figure all the things out. It wouldn't make sense for you to start charging premium prices when people are not, it's not going to translate well. I truly believe that your experience, the quality of what you are giving, plays a major role in what you are able to charge people. I don't believe in charging your worth. You guys, if we charged our worth, we would never be able to afford anything, because we are priceless, because the money is, it's out there. You know what I'm saying, right? Like there's no way that we would be able to charge our worth. So I don't believe in charging your worth. I believe charging smartly, right? For your lifestyle, for your expenses, for what it actually costs you to run a business, and then for the profit you're aiming for. Absolutely. But I don't believe in charging for your worth. And so I would go ahead and remove that from your mindset, remove that from your vocabulary, and follow the pricing formula that I'm going to walk you through. And the great thing is, by the time that you are done with this course, you have implemented everything. You're going to be at a place where you are going to now be prepared to raise your prices when you come join us in the From Broke to Booked Blueprint, which is phase 2. That's where we're really going to scale things. We're going to take things up a notch. But for now, we're going to talk to you with where you're at in your business. Now, this does not mean that you should charge $50 just because you're new, or because you lack experience, or because your editing is not where you want it to be. Guys, I started as a $50 photographer, and if I can save you from anything, it's this. The last thing you want to do is become the cheap photographer on the block. Now, that also being said, I don't want you getting discouraged when photographers that are in another season of business are charging triple of what you're charging. That's just kind of how it works, right? Like if you guys were working a 9-to-5 job, and some of you are, if you're the new girl in the office or the new girl in your position, you're not starting at where someone who's been there for 5 to 10 years, you're not making what they're making. Why? Because you lack the experience. You haven't been there. You have to prove yourself. You have to learn how to produce quality work in that position. It is no different when you are running a business. When you are a business owner, your prices will go up naturally as time goes on. So I just want to say that this is not permission for you to come in and be super cheap and not making anything and then doing harm to the photography industry. But it's also not an excuse either for you to say, well, so-and-so said that I have to charge my worth and that I should come out of the gates charging $500. That's just not how it works. And it also depends where you are located. So I'm going to hop off this rant and we're going to dive back into this training. So I'm going to say this, okay? This is a bare minimum. You need to be charging at a minimum, a bare minimum of $100 per session. Every single person under the sound of my voice is worth charging a minimum of $100, even being brand new. Okay. Some of you are going to roll your eyes because you are going to think, oh, wow, I can't believe she's actually like letting people get by with $100. I absolutely am. But that's not the goal. The goal is to get you to see past that. But some of you also might be at a point where I was. You can't see past $50. You don't understand how people would ever pay you $100 and beyond when you don't feel like you are qualified or you are worthy. And a lot of those are mindset and money story issues, and we will tackle those on coaching calls. But for now, this is a bare minimum in this program. Okay. From now on, you are going to charge a minimum of $100 per session. Okay. And I'm guarantee you the majority of you are going to be beyond this. All right. So here we go. So we are going to walk through the pricing for profit formula. I'm going to have an example for you. This is where it's all about numbers now. And so here's what you're going to need. So just in case you need to pause me, I want to walk you through the 3 things that we are basing this formula off of. And you will need to have these numbers before you can move forward. So number 1 is a profit goal. This formula is created with your unique profit or revenue goal. So this is your goal or dream number. And so this is what you want to bring in. This, again, it's that paycheck question. What do you want to bring home this year from photography? That's the number that you need for number 1. The second number that you need is you need to know how much it costs for expenses. Okay. So what does it cost you to run your business? It costs every single person something. It costs you at least your editing software, if nothing else. It costs you at least that. Okay. So this helps us understand the bare minimum that you need to make to keep your lights on. Okay. So let's pretend that you have a studio or a place of business. You're going there every single day. Well, it's going to cost you something just to show up to work. It's going to cost you the gas you got to put in your car. It's going to cost you some mileage to get there. It's going to cost you electricity to put the lights on. And I'm giving you this as an example, but don't worry, because that may not apply to you either. So just know that it may not apply to you. So what does it cost you to run your business? And right now, it may be as simple as your editing software, which would be like a Creative Cloud Adobe subscription. So whatever you're paying per month for that. And then you might be paying for a gallery hosting site right now. Those are typically the top 2. And then, yes, you obviously will be tracking your mileage. We can talk about that later. That doesn't actually play into your expenses. It's just what subscriptions are you paying? Some of you are going to be able to use your internet or phone bill or a portion of that for your expenses for a write-off because you're using the internet, obviously, and you're using your phone to communicate with clients. And so we'll get into all of that, but I want you to know an estimate of how much you are spending in expenses right now for your business, anything that is directly related to your photography business. So if you need to go look, at your subscriptions, your bank account, pause me, go do that real quick. You have to have this number before you can move forward. And then the last number you're going to need is your availability. So this number plays a crucial role in the formula. So again, how many sessions can you take on per month realistically? For some of you, you might work a full-time job and the only time you can dedicate to sessions might be Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Okay. So that would be the weekends. And so maximum you could take 9 sessions or 12 sessions a month, depending on how many weeks you want to work. But again, you probably don't want to work every single weekend and every night of every weekend. So this is why it's crucial for you to know, what are you able to take on? What fits your lifestyle? And this number will change through the seasons. But for right now, moving forward, looking into the next 3 to 6 months, how many sessions can you take on per month? Okay, so we're going to dive in. Once you have those 3 numbers, we're diving in. So the first thing I want you to do is you're going to take your monthly income goal, so what you want to pay yourself every month, and your expenses, and add them together. So for this example, this photographer has a goal to make $800 in her pocket a month. Okay, $800 plus we added $100 of expenses. So I just guessed that it cost her $100 in subscriptions to run her business. So all in all, that equals $900. So that's step 1. Step 2, you're going to take step 1's number that you got, and you're going to multiply it by your percentage for tax savings. So here is something that you need to know. You absolutely have to be setting aside money for taxes, or you are going to be surprised when the IRS in your state says, hey, you owe us this much money from your business from last year. And then if you're not saving, you're not prepared, that is going to be a financial blow to you. Okay. So what you need right now, you typically need to be saving 25 to 30% of what you're profiting. Okay. So we said that we're going to take that number, $900, and we're going to multiply it by 0.25, which is equal to 25. And we got a $225. Okay. Don't worry about these numbers making sense. It will make sense. I promise. Just follow the formula. Number 3, now you're going to add step 1's number with step 2's number, which is real simple. 900 plus 225 gave me a total of $1,125. So in order for this photographer to put the $800 in her pocket, she has to bring in $1,125 into her business. Okay. So moving on. Step 4. So how do we make that happen? So we're going to take that number and then we're going to divide it by the number of sessions you can take on in a month. Okay. So for this photographer, 8 days out of the month, 8 sessions per month is what she can do. So she divided it and she got a starting number, $140. Okay. Yes, this did not come out to $140 evenly. You need to round up. You always round up. You get it to the nearest even number. Okay. So for step 5, now you're going to take that number, and this is where your lowest package should start. Now, everybody's going to get a different number based on their availability, based on their expenses, and based on their profit goal. Okay. Now, what I did is, you can see how it was 140 in step 4. When we talk about pricing, especially when we talk about for your packages, you always want to make sure that these are not weird numbers. You're never going to have a session price that's like $111 or $147. Like, that doesn't make any sense to your consumer. The way the brain works, especially for photography prices, not necessarily like course prices, but for photography prices, if your sessions can end in a nice whole number with zeros and or 5s, it's just easier for the brain to consume that. Okay. So your lowest package, based on this formula, I would have suggested that she starts with $150 as her lowest package. Okay. And then step 3 is to build your packages, which we're going to go over in the next video. So your action steps right now are to comment below and share with us what starting price you got. If you look at this session price and you are overwhelmed, it's too big, here's what happened. Your profit goal is maybe a little too high right now in this season of your business. Maybe that's a 3-year goal rather than a 1-year goal. That could be something. And so you would definitely need to go back and look at that. Number 2, if you work a full-time job, but you're only willing to do 3 or 4 sessions, you're obviously going to get a higher session price. And so you kind of need to look at that. You kind of need to figure out, do I have room to take on a couple of extra sessions to lower this price a little bit if it seems too scary? A lot of it's mindset, but some of it might really be out of your ballpark at this point. And so that's why I want you to comment below, and I can give you some coaching on that and some feedback on that. So that's the first thing I want you to do. And then the second thing is I want you to watch the next video so we can build on what we just talked about and actually build out your packages. So hopefully this helps. Go through that formula. Please let me give you some feedback. Let some other people give you some feedback as well. And we will get you to a good starting session price. That way you're able to build your packages.